The Samsung Galaxy S3 is probably the most wanted Android phone of the entire year 2012. Samsung has delivered, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the full review. So this is Samsung's flagship device worldwide, so it deserves flagship-worthy hardware, and it gets exactly that. On the inside of the United States version, we have a 1.5 GHz Snapdragon S4 dual-core processor and a huge 2 gigs of RAM. There's also a 4G radio inside, and it features expandable storage via micro SD, all in a package that's just 8.6 millimeters thin. And Samsung has done something awesome and made every carrier's version identical to each other. So accessories will work on all of the Samsung Galaxy S3s in the world, and you can even exchange the backs of them for a cool like white on blue contrast look if you like. And to top off all the spec sheet stuff, which is actually detailed here on the back of the boxes, you get software-wise Android 4.0.4 Ice Cream Sandwich with the latest version of Samsung's TouchWiz UX on top, and we have some things to say about that too. The biggest new feature of them all, literally, is the new display. It's a 4.8-inch HD Super AMOLED display, so 1280 by 720, an absolutely gorgeous display for a phone. Is it pentile? Yes, but can you tell? Nope. I mean, this is a crystal clear, super high contrast display with amazing responsiveness thanks to what's underneath. A lot of people toss around the word pentile as if that means instant death to a display, but it's honestly, you really can't tell unless you're looking at a much lower resolution of a pentile display. First thing you notice when you're playing around with the Galaxy S3 is what I like to call fluidity, the smoothness of the user interface. When you're flying around TouchWiz, it's literally unmatched by any other Android phone. I've been playing with the One X for a while, the Galaxy Nexus for a while, but these animations here all execute at perfectly high frame rates, and that's not something I can say for every other Android device, and it just adds to that fluid experience. There's not a stutter anywhere. And this is the one reason why if I had to pick an Android skin over pure Android, it would be TouchWiz. I mean, it's the fastest, it's the lightest of them all. Couple that with the 2 gigs of RAM in the Galaxy S3, and you're looking at a pretty freaking fast device. TouchWiz is also one of the least obtrusive in-your-face Android skins that there are, so the user experience is pretty close to stock Android. There are a few minor changes like the settings menu and that notification battery percentage indicator. Another thing is they replaced the stock calendar widget and app with their own Samsung-themed one, which is very different looking. And there are a few other pre-installed Samsung applications too, and depending on which carrier you go with in the United States, you'll get a few more pre-installed applications. One thing that I actually found a little bit annoying is that the toggles in the notification area, while they are really handy, and I'm glad that they're there, the slide-in animation that happens every time I pull down the notification tray, like, is that really necessary? The Wi-Fi toggle is all the way on the left, and it slides in from the left, so that prevents me from being able to immediately toggle Wi-Fi, like, right when I pull it down. So it's just a little bit annoying, maybe just a minor complaint, I suppose, but something definitely worth mentioning. The toggles themselves are pretty much all really useful, and I'm really glad that they're part of TouchWiz. Definitely one of my favorite features. Now, that 3-button layout at the bottom, some people love it, some people really hate it, actually. Some people don't like the home button that's physical at all. Honestly, it really grew on me though, actually. After about 5 days of using the phone, I kind of like it. The soft buttons disappear when they're not in use. You know, they perform legacy functions, but they aren't there when you don't need them, so that's pretty cool. And you can access the multitasking still by long pressing that home button. So honestly, if you play with it and you don't like it at all, give it some time. You might actually find that you like it in the end. Overall, there is a ton of Samsung stuff built into the software TouchWiz that I could never cover, like Smart Stay, and it just keeps the phone on when you're looking at it in motion and all this stuff, but honestly, most of it is pretty gimmicky. S-Voice, which is a freaking Siri clone of all things, can be just as useless as Siri sometimes. Hi, Galaxy. What is the capital of France? Didn't do anything. I like the lock screen though, which gives you the option to drag in apps to open them immediately, and it gives you the ability to pick which apps you have here. Nice touch. I always like the ability to open the camera quickly. And speaking of camera, the Galaxy S3 has an amazing camera. It blows the Galaxy Nexus's camera out of the water and impressed me more than the One X's shooter. I like saying shooter. But it's an 8 megapixel shooter on the back, it takes 1080p video, it has sharp autofocus, it performs well in low light, which is great, it takes stunning pictures for a phone and is totally capable of replacing your point and shoot, okay? You hear that? You no longer need to bring another camera on vacation or something. You can literally just bring your phone. I'm really happy it's gotten to this level of quality. The quality is great. The pictures and the features are aplenty, and it's fast. It's really, really fast. There's a burst mode, which can take like 20 pictures in a couple of seconds. It's awesome. Very easy to use. Also up front, there's a 1.9 megapixel front-facing camera for stuff like Google Plus Hangouts and Skype and Face Unlock. Nice. So is it a worthy flagship from Samsung? It really is. It's got the internals to support everything you throw at it, from gaming to everyday use or to just heavy applications. The battery life you get out of this is more than acceptable. Again, miles better than the Galaxy Nexus. You can get all day out of this guy easily. And while the design may not be everyone's favorite, it feels fine in the hand. There's Gorilla Glass 2 on the front. The device itself is very thin, no need for a screen protector with that Gorilla Glass, and the removable back gives you access to the internals, the 2100 milliamp hour battery, the SIM card, the SD card. And this is something I never understand why people complain about the battery door being flexible, because you should just put it back on the phone. I've never seen one break under normal use. Anything you throw at this, it can handle. This phone is a boss. It's one of the biggest and one of the baddest of them all. It's the Galaxy S3. So to launch such an awesome device on pretty much every US carrier and then some, that would be Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, AT&T, and US Cellular, they held some pretty awesome launch occasions or parties or something like that, launch events. And I went to the one that was in New York City, and I got a lot of awesome footage from that, where they were talking about the device, where they were launching it, where they were excited for it. It was kind of their own version of a keynote. They even poked fun at their competitors, like some other companies have been known to do.
One of our primary competitors, who likes to make a big deal about all the technology they've embedded in their device, has done a little more than launch a software upgrade. In that time, we've launched 3 devices that for most manufacturers would be devices that can stand on themselves and be their primary devices.
Very true.
And that was actually the first time where I was able to see a US variant of the Galaxy S3. I actually saw a whole bunch of them lined up together. They all had back-to-back their carrier branding on the back, so it was pretty cool to see the Verizon version in person, even though it's actually technically not released yet. So there you go, the Galaxy S3 is obviously a really, really good device. It's a very impressive device to me, both on paper, because the specs are awesome. It has 2 gigs of RAM, you know, the LTE for the Verizon and Sprint versions, everything like that. It's just a really great all-around device. And then the experience, on the other hand, is also really good. And for me, it's actually enough to get me to switch from the Nexus to the Galaxy S3 on Verizon as my full-time carry daily device. So let me know what you guys think of it, and obviously you can give a thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed it. But do you guys think that the Galaxy S3 is better than the other flagship devices out there? I can obviously compare it to the HTC One X if you like, because that's obviously another quad-core device overseas compared to the quad-core version of this. So let me know what you guys think, if I should do some comparisons. Either way, thank you for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.